Uh, there we go. So, yeah, welcome everyone. I know I haven't met any of y'all one-on-one, but know that I appreciate y'all coming. My name is James Van Boy. I'm the Chief of Staff of Community and Culture with the BOSTON UJIMA Project. And this is our Ashe Ashe Cultural Assembly info session to just learn more about our work in distributing money and resources to BIPOC artists and cultural workers in Boston. Just to give you a rundown, I know some of you guys are familiar with UJIMA, some of you are not. The BOSTON UJIMA Project is a Black-led, democratic, member-run organization building a cooperative business, arts, and investment ecosystem in Boston with a mission to return wealth to working class communities of color. We're bringing together neighbors, workers, business owners, artists, investors, grassroots organizers, and culture makers to create a community-oriented economy in our city. This UJIMA is Swahili for collective work and responsibility, and often how that is sort of illustrated in our work is the ways in which we convene members and community members to make shared decisions on their community. And we're lucky in that we have a capital fund where with those decisions and with a voting process, our community can actively make direct investments without, waiting for government and other sort of external institutions to support our work. So for us, by us, we're truly that in practice. And our assemblies really offer a place for us to collectively decide on how we share our resources. And this cultural assembly today is really an illustration of how we're doing that for artists and cultural workers. So, my thing is not moving. 1 second, y'all. There we go. I'm back. So hi everyone again. So the Cultural Assembly grant is really honoring BIPOC Boston artists for their original, exceptional, and compelling work. We really offered this application quite minimally. I think, the application is simple and easy for many artists who exist in Boston to apply for. We are an organization full of artists. We actively partner in artists to do a lot of our work as it relates to this actual assembly. Boston Art Review is a partner of ours, as well as BECMA was a Black cultural organization, Boston Economic Council of Massachusetts, as well as a number of other organizations like Create Well. And so we're always in partnership with artists and actual artistic expression. And this is really an example of us doing that and honoring that. The folks that are eligible for the grant, as you guys know, probably already, are BIPOC artists here living in Boston, 18 or older. We also are acknowledging folks that don't live in Massachusetts anymore, but have been, because of the rising living expenses and housing prices, have been displaced from the city. But, especially with this pandemic, we recognize that many people still have a familiarity with the city and can speak to it. And so we are really welcome to those folks too. Eligible projects, we really want to offer space for all the cultural expressions in our city and really champion them. And so as you can see in our project list, from a block party to album to live theater to a film, we're really open to folks to use this money for however they feel free. And I don't think it's in this actual presentation, but our hope is that the folks that are selected for this grant will start this project within the first 18 months. And so yeah, it really gives you ample time to really build out something really meaningful. The funding range is up to $5,000. Of course, you don't have to apply for that much if your project doesn't require it. And we do encourage artists and applicants to use at least 20% of their own artist fees for their own artist fees, and hope they pay collaborators a fair amount as well. So yeah, labor's real. We want to make sure people are paid appropriately. But this is the general funding range. And as we continue to, actually, let me not go ahead, but because it might get bigger in the future. The timelines I mentioned, application closes February or November 5th. So really encourage folks to apply way before then if they can. I know some folks already on this call and are just here to ask questions. And with the application, there's going to be a virtual exhibition where folks' work will be displayed for people to understand and to engage with. And this will also ultimately be a space for where members will reference and voting for whoever. Grantees will be announced in December 2021. And we really want to be really thorough and decided that we want to be clear about ensuring that folks have their money in a specific day. We know that so many artistic practice and cultural efforts demand money to start. And so we just want to be really transparent about that in this process. So yeah, that is that. And then for y'all to apply, we have a link, and I know Paige also put the link earlier in the presentation, but there's a webpage, a landing page that we have for folks to apply. Again, this is open until November 15th. So really encourage folks to get it in as soon as possible. And I want to open it up to questions. Before I offer that space for anyone to share anything, I just want to say that, this is our second cultural assembly in this work. Our first one, which I forgot to mention earlier, was in 2017, I believe. We did an assembly called I think it was Dream Wild. It was a mini grant cultural participatory assembly where artists applied via a 2-page proposal and then pitched their ideas to members, and 5 artists won mini grants of $500. And so this year is really a graduation and evolution of this sort of participatory practice. And as you can see, we've been able to raise $55,000 from a number of different grant partners. And now the hope here is that members will democratically decide on how we distribute those resources for and to cultural workers and cultural efforts in the city. And this is, our second go at it. And I think we're going to continue to build out these sort of community determined practices in the future, especially as they specifically as they support artists and cultural workers. And so just want to offer that this is a practice. And there'll be more of this in the future. And so yeah, any questions from folks? Any things I need to clarify? Happy to offer anything that will be helpful.
Hello.
Hi.
I have a question. Well, first, thank you for sharing this information. This is really exciting. Yeah, just looking forward to what blooms here. I was looking for clarification around the selection process. You had said that there's going to be a display of artist work, and then from that display, the committee will talk about our work, and then decide that way. So is this could you say more about this display that's getting put up?
Yeah, for sure. And so we, the communications director, C.R. Peters, has already started to put together a virtual exhibition, which is just a web page that illustrates all of the applicants' work. Whoever has applied for this grant award, who qualify, based off of all their eligibility, has the opportunity for their work to be displayed on this page. And the hope is that it's like a reference point for voting members of UJIMA to help determine, like, who they think this grant award should go to. And so, yeah, this event today was an opportunity for folks to meet artists and connect with them. But also that webpage is also a way for folks to, voting members, to do that with the work and the artists that are doing it. So yeah, is that helpful?
That is helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.